Sup gamers, and welcome to week 2 of the Steadfast Stewards update. The much anticipated and much dreaded Plague Doctor update. We also got a little update on Origin skins. Origin skins are confirmed for the end of the month, as well as character mods. So that's going to be pretty spicy. Let's go ahead and get in to the Plague Doctor. They did a little bit of changes to the Plague Doctor last week. A little more HP, a few changes to a few skills. But let's go ahead and get into it. Science has been nerfed. Increase the cooldown. This is perfectly fine. You still have science or medicine. This is still arguably probably the best skill in the game. Best heal in the game. They just put the cooldown on par with the Divine Grace cooldown, which is a garbage skill. So yeah, that's a fine nerf. I'm pleasantly surprised they didn't nerf it altogether. There are a lot of things they could have done with it, but we get to keep it, so that's cool. All right, Surgeon. Well-known issue that Surgeon felt fairly locked to rank 3. True. It's very hard to put Surgeon in rank 2 because of Battlefield Medicine. You really need access to that, especially if they're going to nerf the cooldown. So it no longer reduces the efficacy of blight skills. So that makes Surgeon a lot more... that is the thing. You're like so restricted. The Plague Doctor is the dot path, but you're really restricted to one dot at a time. Well, plus Magrain. Obviously, you don't get the increased HP anymore, but they did increase Plague Doctor's base HP, which is good. Battlefield Med can now be used in 1, 2, or 3. This is a little interesting. This makes it really bad if you get knocked to 4. Lose a little bit of help here. But it's cool. Now we can have a front row healer if we would like. Science can be used anywhere, right? Or at least in rank 2. They reduced the healing. Obviously, that was a little much considering how good of a healer the Plague Doctor already is. Battlefield Med Plus no longer removes the Plague Doctor's dots. This is fine. You never really upgraded Battlefield. It was like a last resort to upgrade Battlefield Med. For this, it's good, but it's not great. And Battlefield Med now gains extra heal per type of dot on the target. This is actually really insane. So you're still getting... You're not getting, the base healing from Surgeon. But you are getting Omega value if you're dotted. So the heal portion... The heal portion of Plague Doctor remains alive and well. Let's go ahead and see how they did with the damage. Cause of Death is now a path skill. Launch ranks are 1, 2. Ooh, that's interesting. So you have to be front row. Target 1, 2, 3. A single use per battle. All right, Cause of Death doubles the current bleed amount on the target. This cannot be resisted. Cause of Death Plus doubles all the dots. Ooh, that's spicy. Especially since Arsonist hasn't been nerfed yet. Bro, double the dot damage in a single use. That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. We'll see how good it is. We'll see how much we like Plague Doctor in 2. Looks like they're trying to make a Plague Doctor a rank 1 or 2 hero. All right. Disorienting Blast has launch ranks of 1 and 2. They don't ignore or remove guard tokens. Disorienting Blast now does damage. It's now a knockback and a block 1. So this is basically just backlash. I think they talked about in the dev note earlier. Since they want Plague Doctor obviously to be used in ranks 1 or 2, then you really want to run something with a little bit of defense. The upgrade, a little bit more damage, knockback 2. There's no weak, no stun, but it still has daze. Yeah, you still have daze, but you don't have anything else. But this is pretty cool because now you can work with other daze enemies. Emboldening Vapors applies 1 strength to the target and 1 block to the target. And the plus also gives it to you. So this is sort of like Hand of Light. Pretty interesting. A block and a strength to you and an ally. That's pretty good. Incision has been nerfed. You no longer get the damage. No more bleed res piercing versus combo. That kind of sucks actually because you don't really get that much bleed res. You do get the normal 1 bleed damage dealt. Oh. This is 1 bleed damage dealt. This is not duration. So with combo you get an extra bleed. Oh, dealt. 1 more bleed damage dealt. Oh, that's to the Plague Doctor. Ooh, interesting. All right, so you get extra damage dealt. A permanent Plague Doctor buff. Is this... So can you just keep stacking this? You hit him with the combo and you keep stacking bleed? Ooh, that's spicy. That is spicy. What the... Alright, they reduced the bleed. They Omega reduced the bleed, assumingly. So that makes it sort of a long-term gain. A long-term game. It's not bad, though, because in short fights, the bleed amount isn't that relevant. But now you're absolutely sauced up in long-term fights. It's especially good with the new Occultist that gives combo every turn. Alright, not bad. Extra bleed for a permanent buff? What the fuck? Ooh. Incision Plus now grants a +1 burn damage dealt buff to the Plague Doctor when hitting a target with combo. Ooh. Alright, so you get extra burn and extra bleed damage. And you get regen on kill. Alright, so this is another part of what they're trying to do. Make your front row Plague Doctor self-sufficient. Oh, baby. Aw, yeah. Breacher. Absolutely Breacher gaming. Alright. Indiscriminate Science is no longer a path skill. You don't get the extra buff, obviously. And your Noxious Blast is also normal now, although obviously you're still focusing on Incision. Ailments Prevention no longer buffs your disease, bleed, blight, or burn. It's now a front row skill. Alright, so it applies stun res and move res and 1 block token to the Plague Doctor. And the plus version gives stress res and debuff res. It's okay. Stun res, not that relevant. Move res, kind of relevant. Debuff res, 10% is not much. Stress res is okay. Still, it's just too slow. I'm not running this. Like, I just need to stab, right? Plague Grenade is still a thing, but you really want to be in rank 1 or 2, so... not really that relevant. Alright, Alchemist. This is what everyone wants to see, right? Alchemist has been reworked as a path capable of wielding all 3 dot types. Grant additional bonuses against targets suffering from other dots. Ooh, so we're making Omega dot teams. Alright, chip damage has been removed. I saw this coming. I saw that coming. Obviously, you no longer have the reduced HP in conjunction with the resistances. This makes Alchemist much, much better in Kingdoms. Alright, Cause of Death. Cause of Death ranks 1 through 3. They have a 1-turn cooldown. It's now a damage dealing ability. It does 5 to 8 damage base, 10% crit. It does +3 flat damage if the target has bleed. It ignores block if the target has blight. It gets crit if the target has burn. Ooh. It's not bad damage. That's unupgraded 8 to 11 with bleed. 1-turn cooldown though. And then Cause of Death Plus. A little bit more damage. You're doing +4. Alright, so that's 10 to 14. And then you're getting 30% crit if you have burn. Ignoring block and dodge. Interesting. It's not too hard to get all the dots either. You've got a few options for burn. You've got a few options. Well, and you can mag rain to open yourself too. We definitely need a new Berserker, because there aren't that many great bleed options. Like, Surgeon's the best bleed option in the game, right? I guess Jester can do some stuff too. And then Blight. There are a few options for Blight. So this will be interesting. Just doing solid flat damage. Disorienting Blast does a small amount of damage and does burn. Ooh, a single target burn that dazes. Ooh. Okay. 4 burn. 3 to 4 damage, 4 burn. With a daze. Not bad. Alright, Mag Rain. Oh, Mag Rain has changed. Okay. Well, I guess you're running Crusader then, or Arsonist if you want to get burn on. I mean, you can get burn on yourself still. Target any rank from ranks 3 to 4. It's a single target attack. Doesn't clear corpses. Same burn values, which is what, 2 and 3. Mag Rain deals 2 to 4 damage. All right, single target, 2 to 4 damage, 2 burn, small crit. If the target has blight, it does bleed. If the target has bleed, it does blight. What the fuck? All right, so if you have the requisite dots, you actually do 2 to 4 damage plus 6 dots. So it's basically Hollow Vessel. And then you do 3 to 5 damage with 3... So you're dropping a 9 bomb if you have the correct blight. All right, so Alchemist looking pretty strong. All these paths looking pretty strong against bosses. Pretty slow in other fights, but that's fine. Plus you get crit rate. Of course, crit doesn't have the duration anymore, of course. It just gives you the piercing. But 30% crit, that's pretty spicy. Damn, you're just dropping a 9 bomb with damage? Ooh. Okay, Hollow Vessel Gaming. Alright, obviously Noxious Blast doesn't have the innate piercing. Alright, no more damage from Noxious Blast. Noxious Blast now gain extra res if the target has bleed. So, game, we need some fucking bleed heroes, please. I mean, maybe this will make me want to run more bleed. But there's not that many bleed characters right now. I guess you're okay. I mean, we can't run Cause of Death, but you're still okay in rank 4. Put like Jester in 3. And then some sort of blighter. Maybe like Flag in 2 or 1. Alright, increase the crit on plus. That gives more piercing. That can give you up to 40%. That can give you up to what? It's 20%, right? So that's 40% piercing if you have bleed and you get the crit. Noxious Blast increases the duration of its blight by 1 if the target has burn. Alright, so you can set up Disorienting Blast into Noxious Blast. Get a little duration going. Plague Grenade doesn't do damage. Now gains Blight Res if the target has bleed. Alright, so this is a Bounty Hunter Wombo combo. Caltrops into Plague Grenade. Okay. I see you. Ooh, and they increase the blight to make up for that's a 5? A 5x3? Or a 5x4 if they have burn. Plus you're still getting duration. You're not doing the damage, so obviously you're not pinging your tokens, which is... Or specifically not pinging block tokens. You're still pinging dodge tokens, which is one of the benefits of Plague Grenade. But... Ooh, a 5-bomb? A 5-bomb to the back row? Alright, not bad. Not bad. Alright. Alright, we can still play Omega Dots. Alright, Physician. Reducing the efficacy took away from her flexibility. True. Alright, her gets been worked to retain offensive options. Improve utility. Okay, cool. Alright, Cause of Death has a cooldown of 3. Cause of Death causes an enemy to receive +1 bleed, blight, and burn from all sources for 3 rounds. Okay. Malediction time? Which path? I can't even remember which path has the malediction now. Alright. And the enemy deals less dots as well. Ooh. That's pretty spicy. So we're getting offensive and defensive in one skill. Cooldown reduced to 2 on upgrade. 15% crit chance. The crit chance is to get the debuff through. That's the one problem with skills like this. If you don't have innate debuff piercing, this is kind of cringe. Cause of death applies a second time if it crits. The additional time cannot be resisted. Alright, so that's actually a decent like crit token target. It does have a decent crit chance. You can apply this to. Give the enemy a -2 for 3 rounds. And that's rounds, not turns, so it's especially good against bosses, of course. And extra bleed. Alright, very interesting. Still dot heavy. So if you're running any sort of dot comp, you kind of have to have a Plague Doctor, which was kind of how it already was. Distorting Blast doesn't ignore Sunres, doesn't apply weak. Alright, so it's a riposte removal. So it's good against the Beast Clan, which nobody plays anymore. Doesn't do the Vuln. Alright, so it's kind of cringe. Vapors removes all weak before applying strength. Doesn't remove clear daze or stun. This isn't too bad, actually. Incision is now back to normal, so that's good. Noxus Blast now applies weak. This is very good. This is very good. And you're also getting okay dot. You're getting 3 dot. A 3 dot and a weak is actually pretty good. Blight duration increased on combo. Debuff res on combo. Okay, not bad. Knots prevention. Can be 2, 3, or 4. Just normal dot res. Alright, stress resist buff is on upgrade is 20% now. So a slight upgrade, and Plague Grenade is normal. That's good. Reduced amount of mobilize on aspirant from 2 to 1. This is good. 2 mobilize was obscene. Absolutely obscene. Increased debuff res piercing from 10 to 15. Not bad. Ordainment changes. I don't play Confessions, but I'll probably go back to Confessions to try some of these things out. Damage buffs change from percentage to flat. This is probably a nerf for most enemies, right? I would say. +1 damage. I guess it makes like random road fights harder. If you're running against 4 enemies that all have +1 damage. Obviously nerfs some of the higher powered enemies like knights and such forth. So HP, and this now scales. This is what I've wanted for a long time. They scale based on region. So in region 1, +10% max HP. Region 2, +20%. Region 3, +30%. And then +2 damage. Let's see, +2 damage. I don't think that's going to be enough. We'll see how it feels. That's resentment. On the hard axe, it's +3 damage. I guess when you talk scaling with strength and crit, this could be actually pretty spicy. We have a lot of way of dealing with tokens. So token play is good. More token play is good. We'll see how it feels. They removed the piercing buffs. We'll just have to see when we get to Confessions. Apply on hit, round end, gain, apply on hit, burn 3 when self. Ooh, that's interesting. Ambition buffs, apply on hit, bleed invulnerable, convert block plus to strength, block to block plus, dodge plus to crit. The fuck? Alright, that's gonna be fancy. Exemplar always ordained, very good. Random garbage, random garbage. Fixed a lot of stuff. Alright. This is gonna be interesting. So, there's basically no direct damage on her anymore, because they reduced her incision stab which makes sense. So the biggest problem is piercing is going to be an issue. Piercing is going to be an issue. So we'll see how we deal with piercing. Because right now, with the way they've nerfed dots, direct damage is rising from the grave. So we'll see if we can get these dots to connect. We'll see if like some of the debuff stuff, like the cause of death. Yeah, we'll see if stuff like this, if we can get it through debuffs. But I like these changes. They're pretty spicy. Definitely nerfed, but I feel like I can use all these pads now. And I'm especially excited to try rank 1 Plague Doctor. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all.